Today's lesson, don't overfeed. It's very easy to overfeed. You grab the scoop, you just fill it up and dump it. We were doing 2 scoops twice a day. So now we're down to 1 scoop twice a day. And no one's losing weight, no one's starving, no one's freaking out. You can see there's still plenty fat. Well, it's another beautiful morning down at the goat pen. I guess it's a beautiful morning everywhere on the farm, but the goat pen especially. We just got done with our basic ration feeding for today, and the girls have been a little fussy with me lately because we've cut their feed ration in half. And really that's because there's just our own fault. We were overfeeding. We have kind of switched the herd from being the open junior does to bred does. And when they're bred, we try to cut them back on their feed ration so that the babies don't grow too quick and get too big and cause complications. And that just kind of happened without us really thinking about it. We were feeding, I don't know if it was heavily, but we were feeding plenty for the junior does to let, give them all they could want to get them growing and get them up to mature weight. And then we just never cut it back after they were bred. So we were still feeding them a lot, and they're still happy. They're not obese or anything, but I was getting irritated because I was like, well, here we got all these goats. Now I know goats are browsers, not grazers, but here they got a pen full of weeds. I mean, the weeds are waist high, right? And they just weren't eating any of it. They weren't eating nothing. It was all, it was like this, all out there. And finally I talked to our mentor again. I said, what's the deal? Like, what's with these useless goats just not eating the weeds? Like, they're stripping the bark off the trees, but they're not eating the weeds. And she said, you probably need to cut back their feed ration a little bit because they're pregnant. But she said the other thing is you might be overfeeding them anyway. She said, really, you just give them a little bit of grain, just a little bit, or a pellet, just a little bit to kind of keep them trained and keep them getting the extra nutrients and minerals and such. But she said, absolutely never let them run out of hay, which I was sitting there wanting to let them run out of hay to force them to graze, but then I was still feeding lots of pellet. So they were just filling up on pellets and they're not eating anything else. We cut their pellet ration in half 3 or 4 days ago, and the whole pen looked like this, and now it looks like this. So they are very quickly stripping it down. I mean, it looks like somebody came through with a weed eater. You see a lot of this stuff it almost looks kind of broken off and laid down. So a lot of it's been trampled, but you can see here where a lot of it has just been cut off clean. They just nipped it right off, and that's what we want. We want them stripping, because this is not good grass. This is all weedy stuff. So I'm perfectly happy if they just strip this stuff down to the root, and it dies. That's fine by me. So anyway, that was this morning's little lesson. Don't be overfeeding your goats. Oh, these poor bucks. These poor bucks. These poor bucks surrounded by girls, which none of the big girls are in heat, although Jack seems to think the Buttercup is. Little Harriet over here, she's our only junior doe now that she was just in heat last couple of days, and she had these poor bucks just all wrapped up. Man, they were right there through the fence, just freaking out, peeing all over themselves. See, Prince is still going over there to check things out, but I'm pretty sure all the big does have all been bred. We haven't seen any of them come into heat for well over a month, maybe 2 months now. So we are treating them all as if they're bred. We haven't preg checked them yet. Anyway, today's lesson, don't overfeed. It's very easy to overfeed. You grab the scoop, you just fill it up and dump it. We were doing 2 scoops twice a day. So now we're down to 1 scoop twice a day. And no one's losing weight, no one's starving, no one's freaking out. You can see there's still plenty fat. That's what was funny. That's what inspired this video. I walked in last night and I was just like, holy smokes. I looked at all of them. I said, y'all either look like you all of a sudden got pregnant, or you all of a sudden started browsing again. And browsing was the answer, which makes me very happy. I mean, yes, we want them pregnant. We hope they're all pregnant. But I needed them to start browsing because it's ridiculous that I'm sitting here debating coming in here with a weed eater into the goat pen and have to cut weeds back. So don't overfeed them. keep them browsing. It's what they want to do naturally anyway, but if you give them the easy choice of just a feed trough full of pellets, they're going to take it because they're lazy. So, anyway, got them back to browsing like they should be.